All right, guys, welcome back. Another week here at No Clue Garage. I know I didn't put a video out for you guys last week. It's the holiday season. I'm been a little busy. It's going to be that way as we get through the holiday. I'm going to try to put one out maybe every week, every other week, something like that. We're just doing a lot. A lot of stuff going on with work, a lot of stuff going on with the family. Budget. I don't really have budget right now to buy stuff to work on bugs or any other cars because, got to get the kids Christmas presents first. Haven't done too much since the last time we talked with you. It's been kind of hanging out, but drove the stink bug a little bit, and she didn't want to run all that great. Something's up with my carburetor. I wonder if I got a little slug of trash or something in it. Runs fine going down the road. Come to a stop sign, it kind of dies out. When you accelerate, change gears and accelerate, it kind of bogs a little bit. So I don't know. I might dig into that on this video or not. But as you can see, my beanie hat and my coat. And it's a nice day today. Cold front's coming in. And tomorrow is supposed to be like wind chills of 12, 13 degrees. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do for you guys. And I think I've got a plan. Underneath the hood of this bug, she's looking rough. I don't like that wiring mess. I don't like it at all. And I think I'm going to try to clean it up. And I also want to put, they have from the factory, they had a little compartment there. They had a little divider that goes here. Problem I'm having right now with the colder weather driving, you can see all these holes. I need to close the stereo hole. I'd like to find a radio to put back in there, but cold air just comes rushing through there. I think today I'm going to clean up the garage a bit and go ahead and get that thing snuck inside. So tomorrow morning when we wake up, we'll get out here, we'll start us a good fire in the wood stove in the back, try to get this area warmed up enough, and we'll tackle that. A little sore right now. Got some remodel going on at work, and that's wrapping up. And we've been building a lot of furniture, new desks and stuff for the people at work. Stayed at work for 14, 16 hours the other day, buffing and waxing new floors. And then yesterday I had to go over to the mother-in-law's and put together Christmas presents for the kids from her. Mother-in-law's, let me tell you. Told her not to spoil the kids, and she spoiled the kids. I can't quite tell you what it is. You guys will see that after Christmas, but they're going to love it. They're going to have fun. But yeah, I spent 5-6 hours yesterday out at her place building those. I wanted to make a video on it, but I couldn't do it. I guess I could have and put it out after, but it's already done. I didn't want to spoil the surprise for them because they actually watch my videos. After I upload a video, I go inside and my video's playing on every TV. Kids are watching it. The wife's watching it. And you guys have started watching them. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know I can be boring sometimes, but I do appreciate you guys hanging around. Also, I'm going to say this early in the video too. If you watch, like, subscribe, comment. I don't care if you're saying hi, bye, hey, guy, you're an idiot. I don't care. Just comment. YouTube likes when people comment. It shows interaction. Then they start pushing the video out. So go ahead. Write something down there. Let us know. I was outside earlier. Me and the youngest were outside doing some stuff with the truck and looked up the road and noticed a garage sale sign. 2 houses up from me. When we moved in here, there was a really nice older couple that lived in that house. And we've been in our house now for over a decade. And unfortunately, in the past year, they both have passed on. And kids have happened to deal with their stuff. You know how that whole situation goes. So I went up there and was talking with the lady there and made a deal on something. I've got Buddy's Toolbox. Made a deal for the whole package. I'll tell you right now, for everything, I spent $135. I don't know what's in it. I just looked through and made sure there was tools in the drawers. she went through and picked out a couple of things that she really wanted to hold on to. And I figure I'm going to put you guys in a tripod. We're going to go through this thing and see what we did. If we did good. If we did not, oh well, it's okay. It's going to help them out. It's going to get rid of some of them stuffs, get a little bit of cash in their pockets. And we made out with another toolbox, as you can see, a blue one, and then I've got another big one back. I don't need another toolbox, but can never have too many. So I'm going to rig up a tripod so that you guys can watch, and we're going to go through these tools and see what we got. All right, so I got this set out here. Got me a table so I can put the tools. So story on this was that the old man worked at a manufacturer here local, and this was his toolbox from there. It is a Kennedy, I believe is the name on there. I don't know much about old toolboxes, so I don't know if it's, you know, how good it is. If it's not, I mean, it's all right looking little toolbox. But she had the toolbox full of tools, and she wanted $100 for it. And then she had a bunch of other tools laying out and around. So I told her that I would give her $125 for the toolbox and what other tools laying around that she was willing to part with for that much. So she filled up a little bin here with some tools and threw a bunch of other stuff in here. And then as I was walking out, I saw the air chisel, which I don't have one, and the tips that go along with it. So she said she'd take $10 for the, so I gave it to her. Will I use that? Yeah, probably. I needed one not too long ago, but it'll probably be another year or two before I need one again. So, but I've got one. So we'll go ahead and just set this aside over here. Boy, channel locks, water pump pliers. Can never have, I guess you could have too many, but I think I've got some now. Good thing about this though is I have a pair of channel locks, and when I drive the bug, I try to throw some tools in the front of the bug in case something happens, and they've been in there and then I need them. I got to go dig them out. Now I'm going to be able to put a pair of these everywhere. Wherever I need a pair, we've got channel locks. 1/2-inch drive ratchet. I do not own one of these currently. I broke my last one. Of course, this is nothing to write home about. It doesn't even have a name stamped on it, but it is a ratchet. We will use that. These 1/2-inch drive, not sure, I don't remember the size off the top of my head. These are awesome for, here's a 9/16 distributors on like small block Chevys and stuff. You got to get up underneath to loosen it up. 1.1/8 socket. Awesome. Got some big socket. 1.16. I probably guarantee you there's no metric in here. 13/16 3/8 drive. That one right there. 1/2-inch drive. Of course, it says Taiwan 15/16, but that was torqued a little hard. You can see where it split. That's going straight to the trash can. This is right here is what I'm really excited about. Getting my hands on some bigger wrenches. All right, guys, welcome back. It's the next day. I got a little busy last night. So I forgot. We started a new Christmas thing here. So when my wife was young, they used to have big family Christmases at one of their family members' house. Her uncle, great uncle, I should say. I believe that's who it is. She'll correct me if I'm wrong. But he was a really big train enthusiast, you know, model trains and stuff like that. And they would set up a little Christmas train. All the kids would get to build it and all that. Well, he has since passed on. I think it's been maybe a little over a year now. And this past summer, we went on vacation. We stopped by and saw her aunt and her cousin. And her aunt gave us one of the trains that they used to set up when she was a kid. So I called it off a little early last night, and we went in the living room with our kids and set up the train and played with it a little bit. We're missing some of the track, but you know, we're going to find some pieces so we can continue to set it up. And we had fun. Kids played with it, set up all the little people and all the little train cars and stuff, and pretty big train too. It's I don't know much about model trains, but it's like a G scale, I think is what they called it. Good size little train. So we did that last night. As far as the tools that I got, I didn't have the time to go ahead and go through and sort them all. That's going to be another day. But I did clean up the box. For the time being, I just set it up here on top of my toolbox to where I can access the tools if I need them. Like I was saying, barely any metric in here. So most of the stuff on the Volkswagens and stuff, I'm not even going to need to get into this thing. But because this is mostly all standard. But this drawer is completely full of wrenches. So anytime I get some spare time now, I'll go and start sorting through and getting stuff figured out. But that's what I did. I did take it all apart. I vacuumed out the felt and stuff in there and, kind of went through and organized all that stuff. But yeah, most of that's all standard. So I'm not really going to use it much on the Bug because if you guys know, Bug's a German car. Germany's over on the pond where they refuse to use Freedom units. They use the old M&Ms. So we'll be using metric. So today, as you can see, got the old Stinky. I was thinking the other night, I was half asleep. I should call her El Stinky. We got the Stinky Bug sitting up in the air on some jack stands because I'm a tall guy. I'm about 6 foot tall. And with that thing lowered, bending down, working underneath that hood is kind of rough. But my goal today, and I don't know if I'm going to get it all done. I doubt it. I know it's dark in there to see, but we're going to take care and clean up some of this wiring. I'm tired of it looking the way it looks, So I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. Even that radio wiring I might even wire in a toggle switch over there for my amp. So I think that stereo's got malfunction in it. It's got an amp turn on, what they call a remote wire. That's supposed to turn the amp on when the stereo comes on, when you turn power on the stereo. But I think that wire, for some reason, is getting power and turning the amp on anytime the radio gets power from the key. So when I go start the car, you hear the subwoofers, thump, 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 thump. And there's some times where I want to listen to radio without that subwoofer just blaring in the background. So I think I'm going to wire it to a little toggle switch, turn the amp on and off. So I might get to that too. But anyway, as you can see, beanie, coat. It's cold outside. I think it was like 20 degrees when we woke up this morning. Wind chills got down pretty cold last night. So the shop area here, it's pretty cold. I got us a nice little fire going in here. As you can see, this is the area we insulated. Now back here, oh man, it's comfortable. I could take my coat off, sit in my little chair right here and stare at that fire for hours. But I've got to go work over there. It's still a little cool over there. So I have a fan, big fan that pushes some of that heat that way. Problem is that fan's too loud to run while I record. So I've been letting it run, I think, for about the past hour and a half. And it's got it over here where it's decent. It's not too bad. It's comfortable. You can't even see your breath, so it's workable. But we got to get started on this. I'm going to try to work a few hours on this today and get some of that cleaned up. I'll bring you guys along for the journey. One thing I'm going to do to make it a little easier, and I haven't done this before, I'm going to take this hood off, set it aside. Is it a hood? What do they call it? Bonnet? Isn't that what the Europeans call it? The bonnet, the frunk. I've heard it called the front because it's the front trunk. Get it? Anyway, I'm going to take that off so I'm not bashing my head off that and we can see down in there really good while we do that. So I'm going to get some tools out and get that done, and then I'll bring you guys back when we start on some wiring. All right, so as you guys can see, I've got a little bit of a mess. I have not really cleaned up much underneath this hood area since I've got the car, actually. I've just kind of added more, as you can see, with the air ride. And again, this air ride tank is temporary. This stuff, I'm looking to get new compressor, smaller style, the better tank, and then I'm going to build a bracket in here that's going to house it all once I clean this up a little better. But for right now, this is working. And You guys remember a few weeks ago I was talking about I put a new check valve in here. You'd be surprised at how much that check valve helps. I ran this thing probably a week and a half ago. Looking at it yesterday, this tank was, it shuts off at about 85 pounds PSI. Yesterday, this thing was still holding 40. Now, I know that's not perfect, but every air system is going to leak eventually. Last night, when I moved this thing in, I filled it up. 85, 90 PSI. Whenever it shut off, I lifted it up. I drove it in. I dropped it down. Got out here this morning, had to get a jack underneath. And to get a jack underneath, you kind of got to lift it up a little bit. Hit it. This thing still had 80 PSI in it overnight. That check valve was where all my air loss was going. Before, this tank would be empty in about an hour. The other thing that I have noticed, that with that check valve working properly, it is taking less, it's taking a lot of the stress off the motor, because this pressure is not feeding back in there, working against the motor head, the pump head. So, hey, there is some wood. Knock on wood. This thing has yet to run my battery down now. I can let it fill it up, shut the car off, and it'll start back up. So with that extra pressure that was feeding back on that pump was causing that motor to run probably at least 2 times harder than what it needed. So it was really pulling a lot of amperage from the battery. Now, not so much. So hopefully when I get the new ones are supposed to be more efficient than this one. This is an old pump here. And this one's rated at max amp pool is like 40 amps. New ones are like 20 at max. So, but yeah, with the air ride, this stuff will eventually come out. I'm going to build some brackets that'll hold everything up after I get all this cleaned up. But today I want to clean up some of this wiring and such. There's you guys know the bugs. There's supposed to be a little compartment that sits here that hides all this wiring and such back there. I don't have one of those. They're not expensive. I'm thinking of building something here, or I might just order one of those. They're not, like I said, they're not very expensive. It's just like a plastic piece. There's bolt holes here, revisions to where it bolts in. I think it just tucks in up under here and then bolts in on the bottom. But, if I can find something here to build something, that would be great too. But man, we've got a mess of wires down here. I don't know how good you guys can see from way over there. And it's all factory. It's all still in the loom. It's just over the years where it's been worked on, it's all kind of, funky. And then my wiring mess, I want to find something. I've got some wire loom and such. I want to clean all that up. I hope I can get it cleaned up. I've seen some where people go through and completely rewire these things and everything's all nice. I would love to do that, but I'm not in the market to do that right now. Soda machine just kicked on. Still haven't sold that thing. Let's get an air tank out of the way. What do you say? Think it's got any pressure? No, it does. Oh. Oh, that one is holding good. He's got those quick releases. You push in, you have to push in and pull out at the same time. Apparently, I'm not talented enough to do that. Wait a minute, that didn't sound right. Push in and pull out at the same time. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, push the little connector in and pull the air line out. I think it's safe to say there was a little bit of pressure left in there. Woo. Now, you guys, don't judge. Yes, I am holding in my tank with a ratchet strap. Why? Because it's what I had. The brackets that are holding down the ratchet strap are seatbelt brackets out of my boy's old go-kart, racing go-kart back when he used to race. I try to use what I have laying around. Guys, I don't know where to begin on this. And we've got mostly factory wiring. Then we've got some added stuff over the years. And then stuff that I have added. Like there's the power for my air ride. This one is power for my radio. And if any of you guys have one of these, you know that the wiring can be a nightmare in these things. which is weird because it's very simple. So like that wire can be shortened up. These ones that come from this radio, I'm going to try to put that all in loom and shorten them up as I can. This is a flasher, I imagine, for turn signals or for hazards. And then there's another one back here. It's actually starting to warm up in here. I can feel it. I'm going to actually get this beanie hat off and get me a regular hat because my hair is wild. Okay, much better. So, what all can we do here? We just got to pretty much pick a spot and then get after it. This big old long wire is, I don't know what it is. It's not hooked to anything. And it goes over and up. So I bet that is for, these had a little dome light that was back in the, right above the B pillar behind the driver door. I bet that's the wiring for that. Now I knew I was going to do this or try to do this yesterday. So when I went to the old Hobo Freight, I bought some, what do you call it? The heat shrinks terminal kits. And I also bought zip ties because I knew I was going to need some zip ties. Now I saw a cool little trick here on TikTok a couple days ago. And I'll have to run my battery dead. You got this bag of zip ties. There's what? I think it was 200 pack or something like that. Cut the end open or cut the end open. Next thing you know, they're falling around everywhere. So I'm going to try out this little hack that I saw. When you open your zip ties, cut a hole right down the middle of the package. Doesn't have to be a big one, about half the width. And now when you need one, you just reach right in the center and pull one out. And then now they don't fly around everywhere. So far, I'm liking it. So far, I'm liking it. So, what I'm going to do, so that wire, so the way the door switch works here, it looks like this wire and this wire. Okay, so it appears, just by looking at this, I know a little bit about electrical. In fact, I've messed with electrical, as I don't want to say all my life, but since I've been messing with cars and in my professional job. So just by looking at it, I can kind of get an idea. Those door switches appear to ground when they open, when the door opens. This heavier gauge wire looks like it's power, runs up to the light. The second wire runs back down here, runs to this door switch, and it is piggied into the one that goes to the other door switch. So if either one of those doors open up, it'd kick that light on. So that's what I wanted to check and make sure there wasn't any power, so that, but the power side is not hooked up. We're not using dome light, so we're gonna put this up here. What's up? What's that? I would love some. So the wife just went to Walmart and bought some hot apple cider. It's been forever since I've had any of that. And she was kind of craving it too. So she went to the Wally World and got some. I think I will partake in a little bit of that. Let's see what we can do here to clean this up a little bit. I would like to get at least these two. This flasher's short way up there. I'd like to at least get those. I want to be careful. Why is that wire pulled so taut? And that is a factory wire. It's because it goes under those two. You have to kind of be careful if you're going to try to keep factory wiring, because some of this stuff can get brittle. All right, that's better. It's not pulled like a guitar string. I haven't had cider in years, so for some reason the other day I was just craving some. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty dang good. What movie is that? Euro trip. What is it? We are the Manchester United fan club from Ohio. My baby takes the... Yeah, I'm rambling on, guys. If you haven't seen that movie, watch it. It's pretty good. It's not a kid's movie. Don't, you got kids younger than a teenager, you might not want to let them watch it, but it's a pretty good movie. Euro trip. You made out with your sister. I'm going to have to watch that movie now. I'll tell you what I did yesterday. Sitting in this old bug, warming it up, and that radio has an SD card on it, where you put music on an SD card and play it. I have got about, I want to say 6 hours of just doo-wop, old 1950s and 60s doo-wop on a SD card, and I love that music. I love listening to old doo-wop. But I was listening to a few songs while I was letting the car warm up, letting the compressor build. And I got the urge to watch American Graffiti. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, American Graffiti. So I think I'm going to introduce the boy to American Graffiti here pretty soon. I don't know if he's going to like it, but I love it. I love it. All right, let's get back to wiring. Now, I know a lot of people on YouTube don't like wiring videos because they're like, oh, it's boring, wiring. I actually love wiring. I don't know what it is, but, when I was a teenager, from when we could first got to driving age, I was the one, it'd be after school. There'd be 5 cars at my house. And I was the one wiring up the stereo systems for all my friends. Alarm systems. Kind of date myself a little bit, but back, when I was my later years of high school, cars back then didn't have remote start or any of those fancy features that they have now. So the big deal is we would go buy the aftermarket alarms. Back then, Viper was the big brand. And we would tear into the wiring under the dash, and we would make it remote start, make it roll the windows up and down and pop the trunks on cars and stuff like that. And, you're a high school kid back in the mid to late 90s, and you had an alarm system that would start your car and pop your trunk and roll your windows up and down. You were balling. But yeah, I was the one that was wiring all that stuff up. So I love this wiring stuff. Now, I know to some people that's just not their cup of tea and they think it's boring. But, to each their own. Everybody's got their own interests. Now, by no means am I going to make this look, new or even very professional. If the day ever comes that I decide to restore this car, it will get a new wiring harness. That time is not right now. So I am just going to make this practical and at least organized a little bit. Getting a little bit of a late start today. Had to watch the newest Sleeper Dude video. I love watching them guys. They're pretty cool. They went to, what is it called? Turkey Run down in Daytona. Big swap meet car show deal. A 2.5 hour video. So I had to take some time out today and watch that. We usually try to watch it as a family. Kids nowadays, though, don't show as much interest as they used to. But we still try to watch. I do. So want to be careful with it. Ooh. Careful with that. That'll get you in the chin. It is spring loaded. I just want to make sure I'm not getting in the way of anything moving here with that wire. It's not hooked to anything, but wow. Good thing that didn't get me in the chin. It didn't cut me either. Feels like it, but it didn't. I'll survive. When I'm done with this, I'll just be happy if the thing starts up and everything still works. See, these tuned wires here look fairly new. In fact, they are. This one runs to that flasher switch. And so does that one. So both of those wires, I imagine that's the wires out to the rear brake lights. So we're going to hide those back there like we didn't see them. The main thing is I'm going to make it look good, or I say good, better from here back, because I want, like I said, I want to mount something right here. I don't know what yet. And I know you guys are way back there and you're probably getting bored of the same camera view. It's just hard for me. I don't know how some of them guys do it, back and forth and showing all that stuff. So right now we're mostly just hanging out talking. So this is the back of the fuse panel right here. And it has spade terminals on it, is how you put the wires on. And that is really tight. I bet you that's some oddball German size. But I'm going to shorten this wire up. There's no need for it to be that long. No need. Get you guys a good set of crimpers. These work awesome. I love them. Those old like little crimpers, strippers, all that stuff combo. They work great in a pinch and they work, but if you're going to be doing a lot of wiring, get you one of these. Okay. That's in there. Now I also bought another new toy. Problem with buying this new toy is explaining to the guy at the gas station that I'm not a crackhead and what I really needed a torch for. Now they're pretty cool down there. So get you one of these good butane torches if you're going to be doing heat shrink stuff. Oh, that's nice. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's my first time using these that are all in one. Yeah, that's fine. So now we're going to take that off, which was a loose fit anyway. Oh, hey, that's still a little warm. I'm going to slide that on there. Now that wire is shortened up. Cool. I think I need to get on that side and start tackling that radio wiring. Oh, that's a nightmare. All right, so let's take a look and see what we can do on this side. I need to order me new seals that go around this hood. Man, this is just a mess of wires I've got going here. So before I go any further, I want to test that theory that I have about my amp kicking on. I've got to find, appears it is this white wire that comes from my amp. It goes up here to this blue wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this connection and see if that comes on when the key comes on. If it does, then that is not right. And I need to pop me a toggle switch in here. Turn my amp on and off. So there's this little test light that came in that toolbox that I got yesterday. Let's try it and see if it works. If not, I'll break out my big one. So let's get us a good grounding spot here somewhere. Well, this bolt should be grounded. And let's kind of look around and see if we find any hot. Like this one should be hot right now. So, oh, there we go. I got a good ground and that hot and that light works. So we're gonna go over there right now and test that wire. Now don't judge my electrical tape. When I was installing this radio, I ran out of connectors. Okay, let's check one more time. We have power there. There's no power there. Now I'm gonna go turn the key on, which will turn that radio on. Okay, as you can hear now, the amp is on. And it's on doo-wop, like I was saying. So right now, why did it shut off? We have power on there. So let me turn. Okay, radio's off, but the key is still on. The clock and everything's on the radio. Let me test right here. There is no power. So my theory is wrong. So it's got to be something to do with... Oh, I lost my ground is what it is. Well, what is going on here? My test light just quit me. I think my test light just quit me. Okay, let's get out the big bad boy here. Let's see. This is a good ground. Okay, power, power, power. So I am right. So anytime, see that that wire shouldn't push power to that amplifier until you turn the radio on. The radio is off, but the key is on. So the radio has power going to it, but that shouldn't be putting out power, but it is. So, and I lost my ground. What that's doing is keeping my amp on anytime the key is on. And I don't want that. I do not want that. I want that amp to come on only when the radio's on. So what I need to do is find somewhere to put a toggle switch to turn on when the radio comes on. And I could go right through this board, but I've got my VW logo right inside there, and I don't really feel like doing that. Come on, trash can. Almost. Well, I can hear that old fire just crackling away over there, calling me. Come, sit by the fire, enjoy the view. Oh, I got work to do. Guys, I know I can be pretty boring, but you know what? I enjoy the company. As you can see, my family's only into some of this stuff, not a lot. And I just enjoy having somebody to talk to while I'm out here, be it it's kind of like I'm talking to myself, but I just enjoy it. No, they'll come out every now and then and partake, especially when it's warmer out. Right now, they don't really dig the cold that much, which it's actually fairly nice in this garage right now. But I do enjoy having you guys along, listening to me yap about stuff that I probably know nothing about. Hey, I like it. All right, now here's the test. Let's see if it works. Keys on. I didn't hear the subs go thump thump. Turn the radio on. Doo-wop.
Is she really going out with him?
So far I hear no amplifier. Okay, so the stereo's on. No amplifier. If I turn the switch on. Okay. Switch off, amplifier goes off. Oh, dude, I love it. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad because a little bit of doo-wop I played there. I will bring you guys in here once we're done and show you this switch. I think it looks pretty good right there. You can barely see it. I likes it. I like it a lot. Now I'm going to have Duke of Earl stuck in my head all day. I'm a sucker for some old doo-wop, though. Just don't get me around doo-wop and how does old Derek at Vice Grip say, and some cold snacks. I get enough cold snacks in me and get some doo-wop. Yeah. I get kind of emotional. I don't know why. Just seems like the old days, seems like better times. I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole different story. So let's get back to where we were. I'm careful with this strap. In case I ever do put a glove box back in it, this strap is what holds that in. So I want to keep it there. But this is like did I dare say nylon or something? But it's formed so that it snaps back, creates a wire loom. Ooh, that's some thick stuff. These little scissors are having a tough time. Okay. I want to take my torch here and burn the end so it doesn't unravel. I used this stuff at work one time and had a whole bunch extra. I was like, heck yeah, I can use that. There we go. So I got all that in a loom there. Cool. Now I can put that back down to hold that in place. You know what? It is warmed up enough in this shop that these sleeves are getting in my... Oh man, I forgot about my mic. I take my coat off. All right, you guys heard me talking about him earlier, and I'm not, even though the wife says different, I'm not a fanboy, but I am wearing my Sleeper Dude shirt today. And I've been running across my mind what I'm going to put in here. I don't know if I have anything actually here to do it. I need like one of those thin pieces of almost like plywood or something, because it's got a tuck up under here. There's a couple of tabs that it kind of sits on. Very thin in there too, so I don't know. And then it bolts to these. Hey, I hit the trash can finally. So that one's up there, out of the way. All right, so I think we are just about ready to start trying to find something. Start looking for something to go in here. It's got to sit up here. Sucks though is that there's no like mounting tabs. There's just a little bitty gap where something could go through there. So, all right, I'm gonna go look in my stash, see if I can't find a thin sheet of that like veneer stuff, plywood stuff, something like that, to go in here, and we'll see what we can do from there. All right, so we're back, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. It's a full week later. So you remember when we left off, we were working on the front of this bug, and I was cleaning up the wiring a little bit, and I needed something to cover that wire deal. Like I said, I had was looking for a little thin piece of veneer or something. I didn't have anything here. It was Sunday. I live in a small town. There's nothing open. My closest Home Depot is about an hour and a half one way from me. Yeah, probably about an hour and a half. Hour to an hour and a half. So I'm looking at 3 or 4 hour round trip. I'm not going to do that for that. So what I did is I went in there and got on that old, what does Derek Vice Grip call it? The Bleep Bloop computer machine? Bleep Bloop machine? Yeah, I got on the old J-Bugs and I ordered that plastic cover. Now, if you watch my TikToks, I talked about it a little bit, and from what I've seen of them out in the past, I really wasn't too stoked on how they look when they're in there. Just kind of blah, generic looking. But I bought one anyway. They were kind of cheap, like 23 bucks. So I've got it put in here. It's not bolted in or anything because we're going to be doing some more work, but let me show you how it looks in here. So as you can see, all it is black plastic. It tucks up underneath, and there's holes down here, and there's already two studs sticking out, one on each side. And honestly, it doesn't look that bad. But you see the design of my interior? Now I've got something over here. I got to weed through my junk. I brought more junk home from another place that I kind of help out with work. They were doing some cleanup, some of their old electronic stuff, and I saved a JVC tape deck. There's a little audio board down here, analog audio board, a couple of speaker amplifiers, and 2 oscilloscopes. They were going to throw them, trash them. I was like, no, you're not. I'm going to take them. I don't need them, but I'm a sucker for old oscilloscopes and old test equipment. I kind of collect that stuff. But anyway, we're getting off target. I got to get this stuff put away sometime today. But anyway, back to the bug. You see the interior up there, and I just happened. If you remember, I did the interior in all that red Mexican blankets. And if you watched when I built the speaker box, I didn't want that raw wood back there. And I had a Mexican blanket, but it was orange. It was a different color. It wasn't a red, but you know what? It's still the same design. And now I need to do something with that funky black plastic looking cover. Not a fan of it just being all black generic back in there. So we're going to do something funky. I happen to have a purple Mexican blanket. Same design as the interior, just a different color. Who says I can't put this in there? And actually, when I go to do that, what we're going to do today, or try to do today, and maybe tomorrow before I have to get this video out, we're going to remove all of this, clean everything up. I haven't decided. If I've got enough of this or enough carpet, I might try to throw some carpet in here. If not, I'm going to get out my scrub brushes and see if I can't clean this up a little bit. I'm really hoping I've got enough material I can kind of cover some stuff here. So that's what we're going to do today and tomorrow. So this video is kind of jumping all over. I know I started with going through a toolbox. I'm probably going to end up condensing that all down now. I'll still show you. Got some tools and stuff. But we're going to jump on that. Also got to jump around and do some other stuff. We are less than a week out from Christmas, and I still haven't done most of my Christmas shopping. So at some point today, the wife's out right now doing some of her Christmas shopping. So at some point today, I'm going to have to jump in the old car and go do some Christmas shopping. I just got a few more things I need to wrap up, but I got to get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and get this camera in a stand, and we're going to start pulling all that stuff out so that we can get to work. All right, so as I just said, we're going to pull this stuff out and do some cleanup around here. I want this trunk to look good. I want it to look good inside. And I'm not far off. It's just grungy and dirty. I'm not much of a cleaner. I can clean it up a little bit, but if I can just throw some carpet in here and hide it all, that'd be awesome. So as I said on this just tucks up in here, goes over those 2 studs. I'll have to find some nuts to go on there, but I've got some in there. Pop it off of there, and this just pops out. If you remember last week, we cleaned up some of this wiring. I know it doesn't look clean, but it looks a lot better than what it did. So let's go ahead. Let's unhook our compressor, our solenoid, and try to unbolt. I'm going to have to move the compressor out of the way to get to that screw, but let's get this piece of wood out so that I can start seeing what I need to do in here. We might also, while I've got it out, paint this piece of wood or something to make it look good. I don't have enough of this Mexican blanket to cover it, but you know what? I do have a Love's in town, and they usually carry stuff like this. I wonder if they've got any. I might take a trip over to the Love's and see if I can't get a couple of those. And so I've got enough. We might wrap that board in it too. We'll see. I don't know yet, but let's work on getting this out. You want something to do in Minecraft? Get the Switch,
Oh, right.
log me in, and finish building my house for me.
Okay.
However you want. I'm gonna let him build my house in Minecraft. I don't know much about video games, so I'm gonna try. Go ahead and try to let him build my house and we'll see how it is. It'll either be really good or kind of bad. We'll see. All right, so we're gonna start by just giving this thing a good vacuuming. Watch your chin in. I learned that last week. That thing would come up and got me right in the bottom of the chin. It wasn't fun. All right, so that's as good enough as for what I'm gonna do with it. Did that even make sense? I don't know. That's good enough for me. Like I said, I'm gonna try to cover all that with carpet or something. I don't know yet, but I just realized another side quest that we need to do. So driving down the road, and this thing's gonna help a lot, but I get a lot of air that comes through. I don't like it. So notice there's the hole where the stereo went, which I don't have no stereo. I eventually want to get one, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to right now. I might just leave that open. I wish I could put something there to block it. I might try to put something from the inside. But there's also a speaker hole over there. You know what? Let's forget that for now. Let's put this front cover on, and we'll see how that does. Because I eventually want to put factory radio back in the original location. I've been following a guy, I can't remember his name, on TikTok, but he will take the factory radios and take them apart, refurbish them, and put like Bluetooth capability in it. So if I can find me one that's 67 specific, I might send it to him and have him do that. Or heck, I'm an electronics guy. I might open it up and see if I can't figure it out myself. But anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. I'm just mumbling on now. This is a piece that I had left over from when I did the kick wall. Yeah, there is. I mean, I could make that work. Cover up a lot of that stuff. Make it wrap around the front here over the gas tank. You would still see these sides, but a lot of this is covered by that board. That piece just might work. I'm gonna have to find some way to keep it down on the gas tank, which I'm not afraid to glue it. I don't like how you can see all this, but I've got some black carpet over there. Maybe I can make some cardboard kick panel of some sort. All right, let me think about this a bit. I think it's gonna work. I think I'm just gonna come in here and just glue it down in some spots and start stretching it out and gluing it down into certain spots. And then I think I'm gonna glue it flat to the top of the gas tank, cut out for that nozzle, trim it here so it'll fold down. Then I've got some black carpet. Let's see what that looks like side by side. I've got some of this is what I used in the floors. Some little pieces. If I can make, or just cut some pieces to shove in there and glue in, hell, I don't even hate that. I don't even hate that, guys. Just cut some that'll fit inside there, shove it down, because this has got that, this is like almost like house carpet, so it's got that stiff back on it. Let me think about it for a minute. I'm kind of thirsty. I think I'm gonna get me a drink and scratch my head a bit, see if I've got any spray glue, and we'll go from there. All right, so it's been a little bit. Had to do some running around, like I had said earlier, do a few things. But I got to thinking, I didn't like that purple. That purple was going to drive me crazy if I put it in there. And I was talking with the wife. She's like, yeah, every time you mention purple, it made me cringe. So like I had mentioned earlier, I'm in a little bitty small town. There's not much here, especially on the weekends. But we do have a Love's Travel Stop. I went to Love's Travel Stop, and it's not the full truck stop version. It's the little gas station version. So they didn't have it. We've got another little truck stop that's heading out of town. So I went there. They had the blankets, but they didn't have red. They had every other color, but they didn't have red. I wasn't going to throw an orange or a purple or something in there, but they did have this black and white. Remember the carpet I was putting in there? Let me show you why I decided to go with the black and white. That's the carpet I'm going to put in there. And there's the contrast with it. I think it's going to blend in with that carpet and it's going to look good. But I'm not going to put it on there now because, like I said, I'm going to try to get some carpet in this thing. And, this isn't going to be Pebble Beach. I'm not going to, some big car show. You've seen this thing. It's on the verge of becoming a rat bug because of some issues with it, but I don't want it to be quite that far. But it's not a full custom or a full out restoration or a full out custom. This is just going to be to please me. To please me, that's all I'm trying to do. If I feel good with it, then it's going to be perfect. I really don't care what anybody else really thinks about it. I can take it to the car show. You're always going to have people that like it. You're always going to have people that hate it. You know what? It's my car. So what I'm going to do is this is the piece of carpet I'm going to lay down in here. And I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to glue it down in places. I don't want to full glue it down because there's still wiring underneath and I'm probably going to have to work on that at some time. But I'm going to get it laid down in strategic places, glued down. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to glue it down to the top of the gas tank. And I'm going to come over and try to break it right at this edge, cut around the filler neck and all that. And then I might take some of that black carpet and go around those edges like I showed you earlier over on the insides here. And the other reason I'm going to just strategically glue it down in areas is because I'm almost out of spray glue. I went to O'Reilly's to get a can. They want $30 a can for headliner and trim adhesive. $30 for a spray can. And it's, 5 days before Christmas? I'm not going to Walmart. I know Walmart's got it and it's a lot cheaper, but I'm not going to Walmart. I'll work with what I got. Plus, you remember that board for the air ride stuff bolts down. That's going to hold the carpet down. The only place I really got to worry about the glue sticking good is around the front curve of that gas tank. So I'll put you guys up in the stand. We'll get after this. I might time lapse it. You guys probably don't want to sit there watching me, hear me commentary on putting carpet in. It's very boring. If you watch some of the other stuff where I put the carpet and headliner and stuff in the bug, it's the same stuff. Spray your adhesive, both sides, both pieces. Let it tack up just to where it's just tacky. It doesn't come off on your fingers. You touch it, you pull off, there's none left on your fingers. It's ready to stick together. Simple as that. So I'm going to put you guys up in the stand and let you watch me. If there's something cool, we'll bring you back and I'll explain what's going on. Now I'm just going to spray this in some parts and then lay it down, and then I'll come back with my scissors and my razor knife and trim it up as needed. It'd be impossible to try to trim it before I fit it. All right, so I got these corners glued in. This is where in place where it needs to be, up above that wiring right there. I know there's a gap here, but I'm not gonna make this contour because like I said, that board covers right here. You're not gonna see any of this. You're gonna see about that much between the board and the cover. But what I'm going to do right now is I've got 2 holes here that 1/4-inch bolts go through that that board for the air ride goes in. I'm going to go underneath with my torch, my punch. I'm going to heat this sucker up and I'm going to shove it up through there so it'll melt through that. First, I'm going to go get a pair of locking pliers on this so I don't burn the crap on my fingers. And I'm so happy because I found my needle nose locking pliers. I guess I had left them over at the mother-in-law's. And when I was out there working, putting the kids' Christmas presents together, I found them out there. They match. I got the needle nose, a smaller pair, and a bigger pair. I've been looking for those for about a year, if not longer. All right, so I'm just going to go in there, light the torch, heat the tip up, stick it up through the carpet, and melt those holes. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bolt these boards down so that I can hold this carpet down in place where the board's going to go so that I can start trimming and gluing it to the carpet. All done. Now remember, when you do this, let your punch cool down before you grab it and try to take it off of here. You'll thank me.
Oh, much better than the purple would have looked.
That hurts. I try to eat the chocolate off the spoon.
It was hot, wasn't it? Yeah. Dummy.
So does that same thing fit my car?
No, that's up to a 67. I don't know. I don't know if they have one for yours or not, because yours in the middle is supposed to have a big old black fresh air box. Big old ugly box. It's supposed to have a bunch of tubes that go to it.
Yeah, we'll have to do something to make mine look better too.
Why does yours gotta look better? As long as mine looks good.
No.
That's all that matters. Guys, trust me, if you've got carpet down and you know you're gonna have to put holes, whether you're mounting a seat belts, anything, get you the punch and the torch. Because if not, you're gonna hit that with a screw, it's gonna grab on threads and it's gonna run. Trust me, I've done that many times and it sucks. I did it on my floor carpet in there trying to mount my fire extinguisher. Made me mad. Now where this won't work is like on that material I used on the cover, like the Mexican blanket stuff, anything that's cotton. Because cotton will just burn. It'll catch fire and burn. Where this stuff is made out of like polyester, nylon, anything like that, it's synthetic stuff and it will just melt. So you'll be able to melt that little hole. And not only does it make you a good hole, it also singes the edges so it won't unravel there. Okay, so kind of the same thing here. I am just going to, I know that there's, these screws go through that board and hold down the corners of it. So I'm just going to put a washer on here and I'm going to run that screw down to hold this carpet in place. They don't have to be torqued down or anything, just enough to hold it there. What did I do with the other washer? All right. So now I need to figure out how I can make this lay flat up here on the gas tank. And then I'll deal with the sides in a little while. It looks like I just need to lay it over and glue it. In fact, that's what we're going to do. Okay, we'll let that tack up. All right, so this is tacked up now. It's ready to go. And like I said, this isn't no show quality build. We're just gonna stick and work our way out. Just like that. That's glued down to the tank. Got a bit of a hump here because the cable for the fuel gauge, it's a mechanical fuel gauge, so it's got an actual cable. It runs right there and it's pulled taut, so I can't form this to the back of the tank, but it's fine. I think it looks good that way. So now we need to start looking at trimming our sides out and then folding this around. We got the fuel filler here we're going to have to deal with. But that's no biggie. We'll figure that out. We'll get it. razor knife. Make sure you've got a sharp razor blade. And I can't even see where I tried to cut that. Right there. Really wish I could get you guys down here to see what I'm doing. This is kind of hard to do when you're running things solo right now. I need a camera operator. That'd be nice. You guys are standing right where I need to be. Maybe I can come around here. And always close your knife when you're done so you don't accidentally grab it and cut yourself. So I'm around the filler now. I think I need to just cut that up and out. We'll come back to that in a minute. We got to figure out where we're going to cut this over here in the corners. So like I said, I want to slap some of that other carpet down in here. All right, you guys are going for a change. All right, let's go on this side now. This one's a little bit trickier because of the fuel filler here. Just want to kind of do the same thing. Just got that rough trim. What we need to do now is go ahead and wrap the front of this tank so that I can get that trimmed up. I need something heavy there. Something heavy. I've got a couple of these magnetic trays here. Oh yeah, want to work? Where's my galoo? There it is. Get it heavy down on the edge because there's not going to be anything mechanical holding it there. Going to rely on the glue to hold it. So I need to get a little bit right there. Yeah. Good and heavy down here. This carpet just sucks that glue right up. Doesn't take long for it to dry on there. Check my tank. Ooh, I ran the crap out of that paint. Oh well. All right, let's get this folded down. It's already. It's there. I'm going to use the edge of my knife here just to get that down in. Ah, don't want to glue that wire. Did I not get any glue over there? I might not have. I'm going to change my blade real quick. Flip it over, get it freshened. Fresh blade. I'm going to go down here and cut along that edge. I'm going to hold my knife right up against. Whew, it's nice having a sharp knife. Just like that. All right, guys. We're going to have to call it off for a little bit. Mother-in-law is supposed to be coming over for dinner. So I've got the smoker out. I'm about to throw some hamburgers on the smoker. I love them like that. Put them on the smoker for about an hour at like 350, 375. Season them up. Oh, good stuff. I might come out here after we eat dinner and see about trying to get these sides figured out. See if I'm going to have to put those on something. I hope not, because I don't really have anything. But we'll see what we can do. Get something up there. All right. I'll bring you guys back in a little while. All right, guys. So burgers are still in the smoker. They're just about done. But while I was waiting on that, let me show you what I did. So I was talking about covering those sides with some of that carpet I've got. So I did a little bit of CAD work. You know what CAD is? Cardboard aided drafting. I just cut me a piece of cardboard and lined it up here where I wanted, marked it out with a pen, and cut it. Made sure it fit good, and this will work for both sides. And then I just went over to some carpet that I had. This is the same carpet that's on the floor. Now this is black, whereas the floor of the trunk is gray. But I just laid it out and I cut it. Now, here's some stuff to remember. I made this and it worked for both sides. Remember what you're cutting, because I ended up with two left sides the first time I did it. Luckily, I had another piece that left that I could cut me a right side. I forgot to flip my template, but yeah, it happens. Let me give you a little trick on cutting this. I've got these good house scissors. I've even got some of the EMT scissors that cut through just about anything, except for this backing. I don't know what it is. It's like a nylon or maybe even some kind of fiberglass. I don't know. But it would not cut it. So what I did was I marked it out. I cut the backing with the razor blade, just the backing. You know, you can push through. Some places it went all the way through. But the problem cutting it with a razor is it'll pull the fiber strands of the carpet out, the pile of the carpet. It'll pull it out. So once I cut the backing to where I needed it, then I went through with my scissors and cut just the carpet fibers. It helps. It makes it so much easier. Now, one little trick here. If you see this, all this carpet stuff is piling out of there. Bring out your trusty torch again. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad because I'm using fire and deem this dangerous, because it's not. It's a tool. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to just flip this over. And then I'm going to come through with my torch and I'm just going to singe the edge of this. And what that's going to do is it's going to melt down those edges and stop it from unraveling. And just come through and melt your edges down. Get it? We'll turn it around and do the other edge. Now you want to be careful where you aim your torch, because if you aim your torch out to the middle of the carpet, you're going to singe all that in there too, and it's going to show up. So kind of keep it parallel so that you're sending the heat straight down, and just singe those edges. You don't even have to catch them on fire, just hot enough to singe it, and it's going to seal it. Just like that. Got a little hot right there, but that's fine. A little blow, and it'll go out. All right, I don't know anybody named Spam Risk. If you guys know somebody named Spam Risk or telemarketer, tell them to quit calling me. I am tired of them trying to call me. Anyway, let me go show you what we got here. So I already laid the other side in. And remember, like I said before, this isn't a show car. This is just something to help with the looks of it, and I'm going to like it. But this is just sitting in there. I'll show you guys here in a minute how I'm going to glue it in. So that's what it looks like when it's just sitting in there. And if you look over here, I'm going to set it in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to spray some glue up in here. And I'm just going to stick it in here in some places. We're going to have some issues with these sticking up. I just now see. If I had some kind of thick backer board, I could put it in there. But I'm just going to force that up under that lip. Push it up under there like so. And then that right there, with a little bit of glue up here to hold it, that's going to hold itself in. And that's all I need. I just need it to hold itself in. Now, if this was like a show quality interior, I would put some hard backer board in some way to permanently attach it. But you know what? It's not. And that's going to work. I think that looks so good. Now, yeah, I do have a big gap over there, but you got to remember that board is going to come straight over here. So all we're going to have is that little bit of area where the hinge will go up and down. Now, I could put this back behind the hinge and maybe cut some little pieces and try to get back in there, which I might still once I get the cover in and see how much it is there. But I don't know. So that's what I did while the burgers are cooking. Now I got to go get the burgers off and go eat dinner with the family. All right, we'll be back. All right, guys. So it's the next day. And last night, in true me fashion, after I shut the camera off, I went ahead and did a little more work, just behind the scenes stuff. Now, I promise you, I don't have a crew back here that does all the work behind the scenes. Now, we're not a TV show. We're legit. We're going to do it ourselves in the garage. But I did do a little bit of work afterwards. Just got some things wrapped so that today we can do a lot of install. So I'm going to get started on that. I'm going to show you here in just a second. But here in, let's see, what time is it? Here in about an hour and a half, I've got to go on a little secret mission. I got the family a Christmas present I've got to go get. None of them know about it. The wife has kind of an idea, but I told her I wasn't on board, but I'm going to get them a Christmas present. So I'll fill you in when I show them here later. Let's just say it's not something I can hide until Christmas. But right now, me and old Max, the shop dog, where you hiding? He's out there hiding. Mama dressed him in some sweater. What are you doing, dude? I still can't believe you sat there and let Mama put that sweater on you. Now you got to walk around wearing the Grinch. He says, I don't care. It's warm. So yeah, we're going to do that here in a little bit. But let me show you guys what I did. I'm kind of excited. So you remember the board that all my compressor and stuff was mounted on? I went ahead and wrapped it too. I had some of that blanket left. I wasn't going to put it back in there just raw wood. Not while I'm making everything else look good. So I went ahead and got this wrapped. Got all my spacers underneath ready to go. Screws are ready to go. Went ahead and mounted. Like I told you guys with the carpet, how we burnt the holes through the carpet. And here I had to go find the holes that I had already had in there and just cut the fabric so that the screws didn't grab it and unravel, because this stuff will unravel on you. But yeah, Walmart got me some spray glue. This stuff was $16 at Walmart. At O'Reilly's, they wanted $25 to $30. Now, I like O'Reilly's. People at our O'Reilly's is cool and all that, but And it might not be the same exact stuff, but it was the 3M90 that was there. The bottle looked different, but man, come on, double the price. Whew. So yeah, I battled the Walmart last night to get that so that I could get all that done. But yeah, I got a little bit of work. Let me show you something else I did too. The whole reasoning behind starting this was I was tired of driving it and all that cold air blowing in through the dash. It gets cold. I don't have the heat hooked up in this thing. That's something I need to do after the first of the year is get the tubes and hook up the heat channels. The heat channels are good. Like I said, this was a California car. Heat channels are good, but I need to get those hooked up. But the whole goal was to stop that air rushing in. So let me show you where the majority of it was coming in. As I told you before, I don't have a stereo. That's my seat you're seeing in through there. You see the red fabric? And then over here where the original speaker was, that just had a speaker grill over the front. So the air was coming in. So I made me a little piece of cardboard. That's all it is cardboard, and wrapped it, because that hole there has 4 tabs that come to a point that come out. So what I'm going to do is get a pair of pliers, straighten those tabs out, squeeze them so that they're pointy again. There, that's better. Get them so that they're pointy again. And then I'm going to poke it right through this cardboard and just bend it over. And then over here, that's the speaker grill that goes over it. But I took it apart and I cut a piece of cardboard and I wrapped it with a little bit more fabric. So now that fits right inside there. So that when it's on, yeah, I know the chrome's all peeling and such, but this is an old car. That's the character of this car. It's a patina car. But that right there is going to cover that hole too. That's going to stop some of that wind. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and get you guys put in the stand, and we're going to get this stuff mounted inside this car. Should go fairly quick. One thing I'm going to have to do is rerun some airlines from my front shocks, because I don't like the way I just ran them short and quick when I hooked everything up. Now I'm going to run them longer and run them up behind that panel so that they're not seen. So let me get you guys in the stand so we can get started. All right, so before I get any farther, I want to go ahead and get that piece of cardboard in there on the dash. And in order to do that, I've got these big honking pliers out now, and I'm going to straighten those tabs in there and get that so that it'll hopefully poke through the cardboard. Cardboard's not the hard part. What's poking through is going to be the fabric. Can I get this out of my way for the time being? Okay. Now I'm just going to take those tabs and just give them a little twist, bend type deal, so that it holds that down flush. But one more, the one hiding behind all the wires. Cool. That's in there. And it's actually kind of solid. I like it. Oh, I like it. It definitely stands out, the white against the red dash. But oh well. Cool. Now we've got that. I'm going to do some mess cleanup here. I'm going to run the vacuum real quick. The wife and the kids are about to head to Walmart to do some Christmas shopping. And I want to catch the boy before he leaves so he can help me run those nuts down. So let me get this vacuumed out real quick. Okay. Now with any luck, this will just find its holes here. Now I need to move my compressor out of the way just a little bit so I can get to the bottom screws that mount the board down. Yeah, so I told the wife I've got to go meet a guy off Facebook Marketplace for air ride parts. That's where she thinks we're going. But it's not. Me and Max are going to go for a little ride. and go get the family a Christmas present. As this is already looking a whole lot better. This is my ground that is pinned. Whoa, that almost ended bad. Remember what I told you guys yesterday? Yeah, watch these things. They're spring loaded. Woo! It didn't get me, but man, I felt the wind off of it. Hoo, 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 hoo. Okay, that almost ended badly. Remember, guys, I'm an idiot. Don't do as I do. Whew, I had a breather after that one. Now that I put carpet and everything in the way of where my airlines go, maybe I should have reran those before. Only issue I'm going to have, worry I should say, is keeping them out of the way when these hinges go down. So maybe I just run them over here, run that one through there. Yeah. Okay. Watch your eyeballs. Oh, behind. Yep. It needs new airlines. So, might as well quit talking about it and just do it, huh? Okay. Good thing about this is everything is quick push to connect. Okay, for me, I just happen to have a roll sitting right here. Only problem with this is it comes coiled up, and this stuff does not want to uncoil. I wish it would lay flat. I mean, if it was summertime and I laid it in the sun, it might. But sometimes it can be a pain. Oh, guys, my heart's still racing from that stupid hinge over there. That thing about took my eyeball out. Now I'm lost. Where am I going? There we are. I'll run it back behind here so I've got some spots to zip tie it to. That'll work there. Tubing cutter. If you guys are going to use this plastic airline, most of the time the kits I bought comes with this little tubing cutter. It sits in here. It's got a razor blade. Use this. If you try to cut it with, cutters, dikes, any of that, you're going to pinch the ends, and it's going to be impossible to get into the little push to connect fittings. Use this cutter. It works great. After you do this, air up your whole system and then hit it with soapy water and check for leaks. And nothing worse than a leaky system, which mine leaks, but I will make sure there's not any big ones. All right, now we're back to where we started. Before I go any farther, I'm going to hit this with some of that good. Yeah, that stuff's not even sticky anymore. I sprayed it on my fingers. I hate that feel of that glue on your fingers. All right, let's let that cure up. All right, let's get this speaker grill in place. Just like I had mentioned with the radio, this has tabs. It just goes through some slots in the metal dash, and then you bend the tabs over. To make this go a little easier, I'm going to go ahead, straighten these tabs up. So now I found it easier. Open the wing window, stick your hand in there, and you want to push as hard as you can to get that to go in. Reach in and bend the tabs, just like that. Now that hole's covered. I like it. Down in here somewhere is a hole for airlines. All right, so what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to go feed them airlines up. I've got a hole that goes through. My switch is right there in the middle of the dash. I need to feed them up. I think I'm going to have to replace one of them. What really sucks is it's the one that it's not a push, the push to connect type fittings. It's one that you got to push it over and a little barb, and those are tight on these. So I'm going to see if I can't, if it's too short, I'm going to have to extend that. I'll bring you guys back once I get that done. That's all me working under the dash. Even if I wanted to show you guys, which I do want to show you guys, but there's no room. This is a Volkswagen. There's no room under the dash for me, let alone both of us. So I'll bring you back in a minute. All right, guys, I'm back. So remember about that little plan I told you I had to go do? Well, I'm back. Just gave the family their Christmas present. The wife knew as soon as I walked up. But here's their Christmas present. All right, Meet Dot. She's out running around. Come here. That's Max and that's Dot. Newest addition to the family. I just left the Humane Society. Let me tell you guys, if you're looking for a pet for you, your family, go check out the Humane Society. They get all those pets that people dump off. They're unwanted and stuff like that, and I just feel bad for them. But don't go get those designer dogs from the breeders. You know, most of the times they're running puppy mills. They treat them like crap. Go to the Humane Society. Get a dog that's looking for a home. So that's what we did. That's where we got Max too. And we couldn't be happier. So yeah, yay me. Looks like kind of the same breed as Max, maybe. Maybe he's got some lab. Probably another one's gonna dig more holes in my yard and probably chew on stuff. I have to restack my firewood like 2-3 times a year because Max unloads it. So, but yeah, guys, we're gonna sit out here and play with the new pup for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get back in and we're gonna finish up that car. All right, guys, I'm back in the garage. Family's still in the backyard playing with the new pup. And, you know, sometimes I can be a hard butt, but, you know, they wanted another puppy. We've always had 2 dogs. We've always been a 2-dog house. And last year, 24, we lost our 2 dogs due to age. They both aged out. They got to the point where it was no longer, we couldn't watch them. We couldn't watch them suffer anymore. They were, you know, our little Chihuahua mix was having strokes, and our big Airedale, he got to the point where his hips gave out and he couldn't get up off the floor. The vet said he had cancer, you know, and I think he was 14 years old. So it was a little rough on the kids, you know. So we lost them to age. Went through the holidays last year without any animals. To the kids, it was rough. To me, it was nice because, you know, we didn't have to worry about what to do with the animals while we were, you know, doing our Christmas stuff. And then it was the end of January. It's when we got Max. We went to Humane Society and picked him up, and he's been awesome. And we could tell because Max goes everywhere with us. He goes to Grandma's house with us, and Grandma has 5 dogs. She lives out in the country. She's got 5 dogs, and he loves playing with all those dogs. When he comes home, you could tell he's just, you know, seemed a little lonely. We've got a couple cats he tries to play with, but you know how cats are a-holes. They'll play with them when they want. When they're done, they'll bite them and then run and go hide. So, yeah, he's happy. Kids are happy. I'm happy. Like I said, though, if you guys need to go, if you're looking for a pet, go head up to the Humane Society. That's the place to go. Get them there. Every one of them. If I could, I'd save every one of them dogs there. Well, almost every one. Not them little Chihuahuas. Them little Chihuahuas are, yeah, little naggy little ankle biters. Nah, I mean, all them dogs deserve a good home. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a pet, check out the Humane Society. But anyway, enough of me talking about that stuff. Let's get back to work on the old stink bug. I'm trying to remember where I left off. Oh, I was going to climb up underneath and work on the airlines on the switch inside, which I did. And only had to extend one hose, and it was the easy one. It was on a quick connect. The one that's not is the supply going in. The switch I don't have any of the electronic solenoids. I'd like to because, you know, they would air up and dump faster. I've just got one of the switches that lets the air pass through, and when you dump, it lets the air escape out of the switch. So the one that fits on the barb with a hose clamp is the supply into the switch. That one seems like it's going to be long enough, so I don't have to worry about that one. There is a couple of things I need to do before we try to button up that panel, and let me show you. Okay, so when I put this panel in, this is the wire that comes from my switch. The way this works is I turn this, there's power coming into this toggle switch. When I turn that switch on, it sends power to the pressure switch. Pressure's low, closes the switch, turns the solenoid on, lets the compressor come on. This wire right here, once I put that panel in here, that wire is going to be pull tight. I don't like that. Plus, I don't want this hanging out there like that. So I'm going to try to find a piece of wire and extend this, and then I might have some little split loom and try to run it in some of that. This is where those hoses come in. It's puffed up right now. I know it looks funny, but once I get that panel in, it's going to hold it flat. All my airline hoses, with the exception of this one, it'll be hidden all the way over to the edge, but it's got to come out and connect to my tank because that's the air supply that goes to the switch. So I'm going to put you guys back up in the stand. I'm going to try to hunt a piece of wire. I've got wire around here. I just don't know if I have a red wire. I'm going to try to hunt a longer piece so that we can make that up. And then I've got to figure out a way to mount the tank. If you remember, I had the tank mounted down with a ratchet strap. It looked ghetto, but it worked. And at that time, I didn't care. But now that the front's starting to look better, I don't think I want that big green ratchet strap strapped across there. I've got to find a way. I've got some really big stainless steel hose clamps. I'm thinking maybe I can rig something up with that, put a couple of them together that'll wrap around it. That tank is really big. That tank is probably 10, 11 inches diameter. It's a big tank. It's not the right tank for this kind of application. In fact, I think it might have come off like a dump truck or something. But I still don't have the proper tank, so I've got to make that one work. So I'm going to try to find a better way to mount that. So let me put you guys in the stand. I'll hunt up some supplies, some wire. I'll go grab those pipe clamps, and then we'll continue from there. Yeah. All right. So look what I found. Red wire. I've had some. Just had to dig for it. Now this doesn't have to be very thick wire because this is just the signal wire to the solenoid. There's barely any amperage that runs through this, so it can be a thinner gauge. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this long enough that I can run it through some loom. And then I might remake this one too and try to run them both through some loom down this way. Let me see if I got some. I think I do. Okay, let's double check that. If I reach in there and flip that switch, that compressor should kick on. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's up here. So that part's working. Let's look this over real quick. We know this part's functioning. The switch is functioning. That air ride's hooked up. I need to go over here to my VW stash, which is also my only stash of metric hardware. And I need to find some nuts to fit these studs so I can bolt that bottom deal in. Let me go look. Guys, I guess it's the moment of truth. We're going to get that cover and see if we can get it popped in here. All right, so I got some holes punched in this fabric here so that stuff can lay in there. This is so nice. Out of that tool hard that you saw from the beginning of the video, I actually have a 1/4-inch drive ratchet now. It's almost like a luxury around here. Well, it's in. I think it looks pretty good. Looks completely different, I'll tell you that much. Let's clean up our mess here a little bit, and then we're going to work on trying to mount that tank. So I was saying earlier, these are the hose clamps that I've got. And again, these were kept over from a project. This was what was left over. The crew was going to throw them in the scrap pile. I said, no, I'll take them. I'll figure something out to use them on. These will adjust from 1 to 10 inches. Problem is I think this is like 12. So it will not fit around. And my other problem is that this tank is not the right tank. So I can't fully set it up here on the board because it sits too tall and it hits the hood. So I've got to sit it forward for now. I am eventually going to get the right tank and compressor that'll all mount up in this area. So for the time being, I am going to have to rig something up here. I don't want that big old ugly ratchet strap going around there. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to cut the adjuster off. I'm going to drill a hole and I'm going to screw it to the board right here. And then I'm going to run it around. Then I'm going to take another one. Once I get that there, I'm going to figure out the length I need. I'm going to cut it here, and I am going to mount it to the body down here, somewhere where it will hold it. All I want to do is just hold this down tight so that it doesn't roll around. think that'll work. I don't want to over tighten it, you know. It just needs to be tight enough to hold it in place. That ain't going nowhere. What's that? What's the dad joke? That ain't going nowhere. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. All right, so now we're ready to start. What are we ready to start doing? Hooking everything up. After that, I'll have to get the hood on. All right, so I got the hood put on. The wife came out and helped me put the hood on. Got things wrapped up. Had to put some air in it to get the jack out from under it. So one thing I did notice, and when I first put the air ride in there, I had some little LED strip light underneath the dash to tell me when my switch was on. It quit working, so I just ripped it out. I should have put something else. Now that I have insulated all that with that big panel going across and closed off the radio hole and the speaker hole, I can't hear when the compressor's running. So I'm gonna have to be very sure to turn that switch off. I'm probably gonna get in there and wire another light to that eventually. But let's take a look at what we did. We did a lot of work. Let's see what we did. Okay, I got to break the light out because it's dark here. But look at that, guys. Yeah, I think that looks really good. There's some areas maybe back in there I could like throw some trim carpet. There's still a little bit of wiring that can be seen. But, you know, all in all, I'm not too worried about it. It's all cleaned up real well. This area up front, I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to put spare tire back in there. Hi, we haven't seen you all video. What have you been doing? Phone, playing on your phone? What are you playing on there?
Nothing. I was just watching YouTube shorts
Oh.
all the time.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do in there. So I'm not too worried about, you know, putting anything up front for now. Eventually, I'd like to get one of those nice trim kits that you can buy that's got the panels all made for it. You know, the side panels and the front and all that. True upholstery. But I think it looks good. Now let's look what we did inside. Remember, we made those panels to cover things up. Let's look at that. Okay, of course, you remember the radio. It still looks that way. I didn't do anything different. Did add the base, this switch right here. What this switch does is it interrupts the signal going to the amplifier to turn the amplifier on and off. Now I can listen to the radio without the amplifier on if I want, which is good sometimes, because sometimes I like to come out here and just sit in the car and listen to some music and don't want to wake all the neighbors up. This is that panel that we made to cover up the factory stereo hole. I could have got that a lit. Man, I almost nailed that center. I didn't even realize there was that little diamond there. It's almost center. I think that looks really good. And then over here, you can see behind this panel, that's where the speaker hole was. I put another piece of that blanket back behind there. So like I said, with all that there, I cannot hear that compressor running when the engine's running. I'm sure if I was to turn it on now, I would be able to hear it. With the engine running, I can't hear it. So I'm going to have to be careful with that. But if I can't hear that, that means that's going to really block a lot of that air. That was the main goal of starting this, was to try to block off some of them holes to keep that cold air from coming in. You know, it's wintertime, and I'm not going on far trips, but, you know, on the weekends, I like to jump in this thing and run to the store if I need to. You know, go down, get a cold drink and at the gas station or something. You know, if I got to go to Walmart real quick, I like jumping in this. And with that cold air just blasting you in the face, it's kind of rough. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. We did a lot this week. I say this week. It's actually been 2 weeks since we started. Yeah, because we started last weekend. Mainly waiting on a part. It took 4 days for that part to get here, which is pretty quick. You know, I can't complain. But yeah, we've done a lot, and we've still got a lot more to do. So future videos on the old stink bug, I will eventually want to, underneath the hood is really rough. I'm either going to take that back off, clean it up, and paint it nice, or I'm thinking of just going and getting some of that thin carpet that I put down over the gas tank and gluing it up inside there. Also, I am tired of looking how dingy, seeing how grungy and dingy looking this bug is. Put that shine juice on there. Shine juice lasts like a week, and then it starts getting dingy. It's sticky. Everything sticks. This is Oklahoma. The wind blows. So any little grass blade or, pollen, any of that stuff that's in the wind sticks to it. I think I am going to pull all the trim off, pull the bumpers off, and sand this thing down and clear coat it. I think I've made up my mind. I'm going to do that because I want the patina look, but I want that shine and that protecting on it. Not quite ready to go to paint. I've been thinking, do I want to paint it? There's going to be a lot of work to paint this thing, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. So that's what we're going to do in the future. But I'm going to sit right here and admire my work. I've got pork chops on the smoker. We're going to go in and eat dinner for a little bit, and then I've got a few hours of editing ahead of me. So again, I want to thank every one of you guys for watching. I know it's been a couple of weeks. I missed last week's video. I'm going to try to go no more than 2 weeks without a video. Especially right now in the holidays, it's going to be rough. I'm sure next weekend I'm going to be spending time with the kids with all their new stuff. I'm going to go see my oldest daughter, or try to go see my oldest daughter and spend Christmas with her. So there might not be a video next week. And then the weekend after that's New Year's. We can probably do something over New Year's weekend. But again, I've got to come up with parts to do stuff. So again, thank you guys for watching. Check me out on Facebook and TikTok, No Clue Garage 580. And with that, till next time, we will see you guys.